around. And
Wow.
I was with Damien Eccles this weekend, and Amanda
Know the
Knox.
story
And
well, yeah.
Of course, there's so many incredible human beings, and one more so than the next. And I'm always like, every time I meet somebody like you, I always feel like I've heard everything there is to hear. Then I hear a story like yours, and I'm like, my head's just exploding again. But I have to ask, are you bitter?
I guess for me is what I want to tell you is that nobody comes through the prison system unscathed. For me, I'm in therapy. I go to therapy every week. I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, panic and anxiety attacks. My life was destroyed for something I didn't do. And it's something that when I hear sirens, I get shook up. I literally don't go nowhere. Me coming here was a thing. It took a lot of courage for me just to come here. So there's a lot of bitterness inside of me. To say that there's not would be lying. I'm hurt by what has happened to me, and I'm hurt that it's still happening to other people. Like, I know other innocent men and women that are in prison. What I try to do with that bitterness and that hurt that I feel, I try to channel it into doing productive things like my music, or champion other people's causes, like Ralph Stokes, who's an innocent man in prison at SCI Green, Willie Vesey, who's locked up, who had the same police detectives and district attorney, and he's locked up, and I go to their hearings and try to be supportive to their families and stuff like that. And when I have an opportunity to speak out, I speak out, So there's a lot of hurt in me, what my daughters went through while I was out of their life. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget them in all of this too, right? I mean, they talk about an innocent victim. They were well, one wasn't even born yet, and the other one was a baby.
Wasn't even born, and you have to understand the ripple effects of that. You know what I mean? The lasting ripple effects of not having your father in your life for 25.5 years. When the decision was made to get me out, and I was on the phone with her, one of the things that she said to me was, I used to sit by, she said, I used to sit by the door every day and look out the window and wait for you to come home. That's something hard to swallow. And she said, all I want you to do is to come home and have a relationship with your granddaughter. And the ripple effects are very lasting on anybody who has been in prison. None of us, no matter how good it seems everyone is doing, no one comes through the system unscathed. Me having nightmares all the time, struggling out here in the world, it's real. It's not easy, because oftentimes when I hear a siren, I think that they coming back to steal my life. I made sure that there's a locator on my phone at all times where I'm at. When I first came home, I was literally calling the lawyers like every hour on the hour, calling other people just to, so my whereabouts are always known. It's that deep.
People that are listening, I'm sure they're thinking, what could I do to help, right? Some of these guys that you left behind who are innocent and stuck in a situation that you were in, what could they do to possibly help you? Do you have any kind of social media? Do you do speaking? Do you have a page where people could donate to help you with your transition? If that's even something that interests you, I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions, but what can people do to help? Either the people that you left behind. Let's start with that.
Ralph Stokes, he has a Facebook page and a website, Ralph ralphstokes.org. Get in touch with his supporters there. For Willie Vesey, you can look up his case and get in touch with his supporters, and you can write these men. They are still in prison. Willie Vesey is doing life, VEASEY. And Ralph Stokes has death at SEI Green. And any one of you listening can make a difference. You can help by writing them and reaching out to them, and then just start championing their cause like I'm trying to do. Get involved on their support team and, help get them some type kind of justice. You know what I mean? Because everybody can make a difference. Even when they think they can't, they can use their voice to make a difference through social media, through other outlets.
What about you? What do you need? What's
I don't necessarily, I'm not looking for a handout, you know what I mean? I don't even want to say it that way. Maybe that's wrong enough, to say it, but there is a trust fund that my lawyer, Amy Rowe, set up. Amy Rowe of Washington, D.C., Maryland, and you can look it up on our Facebook page where people could donate if they wanted to. But I have a social media, Instagram, Jimmy_Dennis_music. I just like for people to listen to my song, You Said. Give a listen. If you like it, you like it. Hopefully you'll like it. You know what I mean? And I just really want to be a part of the music fraternity, earn my keep that way, It's always been my dream to be in the business since I was a kid. And for me, I used to see my musical heroes, Gladys Knight, Bruce Springsteen, and all on the Grammys. And even when I was on death row, that was the one time on death row, anybody can tell you that know me, you could not call me when the Grammys were on. I disappeared. I would put on my headphones and I would watch the Grammys, and I was in New York or LA all the time. I would not respond to anybody. I was there watching, and rooting and cheering everybody on.
What's your favorite song to sing?
I don't necessarily have a favorite song to sing. I just like, whatever comes to my heart,
Well, what do you want to sing right now? You want to sing something right now?
Yeah.
It'll be the first time on Wrongful Conviction we've had anybody sing
I'll sing You Said. I'll sing You Said if you don't mind.
Do it.
Okay. Bore through the hurricane, went through fire and rain, felt all life's pain, crazy, the insane, for you, woo, for you, woo. Nothing ever out of bounds, always there to be found, never once let you down, I was there for you, woo. For you, woo, you said you loved me, honest and true. You said you loved me, I'll be there for you. You said you loved me, honest and true. You said you love me, I'll be there for you.
There we go. What's the address?
JimmyDennis.net. You can find the single You Said with a U and then the word said.
Okay, last question. So what would you tell people, because everyone that's listening right now someday is going to get a jury duty notice.
Right.
And you went through a really crazy situation, people sleeping through a death penalty case. I mean, the word disrespect doesn't even come to mind. I mean, that's not strong enough. It's reprehensible. It's fucking terrible. But that's beside the point. What would you tell people if they get called to jury duty and they end up on a criminal trial? What advice could you give people listening saying, I don't ever want to make a mistake like that. I don't ever want to send an innocent man to jail. What would they look out for? What would be the tips that you could give them?
The first thing you shouldn't do is worry about making a mistake. You should go in there, and it has to be like 12 angry men in that room if you take jury duty. Somebody has to be Jack Lemmon or Henry Fonda, right? You have to pay attention to every single thing going on. Don't be biased. Sit back and pay close attention to the evidence and weigh it. It is a large responsibility for anybody to take on jury duty, and you should want to, because you could be the reason that somebody doesn't get railroaded like me and that an innocent man or woman comes home. We don't need more Jimmy Dennis, Damian Echols, William Diaz, Jeff Dislicks, and Amanda Knox, and so on and so forth. We have to stop it somewhere, and by you sitting on the jury, paying attention to all the evidence, and then weighing it properly, you can be the one voice that says this doesn't make any sense, or pay attention to this facts and not the theatrics of it all that the other side is trying to do. Because that's what happened here. A lot of theatrics from the parties that be, the DA and the police, a lot of theatrics and lies. And there was no way that anybody sat on that jury and shouldn't have been paying attention to the facts. You have to pay attention to the facts. Facts matter.
That's good advice, and I'm sure it's going to help people as they go into that situation, which is a difficult situation for anybody. I think, being in a courtroom and it's uncomfortable, it can take a long time, but it's a responsibility we all have to each other. I mean, because this could really happen to anybody, and you're living proof you were just a regular person. So, okay, then I guess the last part now is just anybody that you want to thank that maybe we haven't thought about already, and then any closing words that you have. This is a tradition that we have on Wrongful Conviction. At the end of the episode, I get to just sit and listen, which is what I like to do. And first, I want to thank you, Jimmy. It's very courageous of you to come up here. I know it wasn't easy, and to share your thoughts and your experience with the audience. So thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to maintaining a friendship, and I have some ideas. That. You were talking before about how comfortable the bed is at the Westin in New York. Yeah. Well, Wrongful Conviction is going to get you that bed. So.
Oh my God.
So you'll sleep good, Maybe you might fall asleep listening to your own show. Anyway, so we got that covered. But anyway, so now, like I said, I get to shut down my microphone and just put my headphones, kick back and listen. So it's all up to you.
I want to first thank you, Jason, for having me. You and Connor, it means the world to me. Your hospitality is greatly appreciated, and I just want to commend you for the work you're doing in the innocence community. It takes a lot of courage to do what you do. I want to thank Jennifer Thompson. She's been one of my biggest supporters, and she's a hero of mine. I call her my shero. You know what I mean? She's been there for me from day one, championing my cause. I like to thank all my supporters, around the country that been there for me when I was in prison and since I came home. Jeff, Melanie, Kathy, and Ron, and everybody. I want to thank my friends. My friends have been an instrumental support for me. When you get out, you need support. Your family, your friends. So I just want to thank my friends and my wife, Corby, and my friend Kasim, Quadir, Ski, and Abdul, all for supporting me. Arnold and Porter Law Firm, Amy, Ryan, Rebecca, Megan, Melanie, Kitty Behan, and James. They did a wonderful job, and it's because of them that I'm sitting here. They're like family to me, and I love them dearly. And I just want to tell people listening that if you do your due diligence and you read a case and you want to get involved, don't be scared to get involved. Reach out to that person in prison. Become their supporter and become their champion, become their voice, because a lot of people in prison have no voice. And to everybody on death row, to every man and woman in prison, never give up, and never give up on your dream, no matter what your dreams are. For everybody in the innocent community, I don't care if you wanted to be a fisherman or a carpenter, go for it and don't give up. Never give up. Never, ever give up.
This has been an extraordinary episode of Wrongful Conviction with Death Row exoneree Jimmy Dennis. Jimmy, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget to give us a fantastic review wherever you get your podcast. It really helps. And I'm a proud donor.
to the Innocence Project, and I really hope you'll join me in supporting this very important cause, and in so doing, helping to prevent future wrongful convictions. It's easy. Go to innocenceproject.org. That's innocenceproject.org to learn how to donate and get involved.